The KXAN News Podcast is sponsored by Shelf Genie.
Texas may soon be facing down the federal government over policing the border. The proposed state law that could lead to even more friction.
Austin City Council looks at ways to not repeat the power outages seen during February's winter storm. The move to go ahead and tally up costs to bury electrical lines.
And strong storms are possible overnight tonight in the Hill Country. Your first warning forecast is coming up.
Some Texas lawmakers want to tighten control of the border with this new state law. Very good evening to you. I'm Jennifer Sanders.
And I'm Daniel Marin. The proposal discussed at the state capitol today could set the state up for a showdown with the federal government.
And as Capitol reporter Ryan Chandler tells us, it's the latest effort for those who feel the feds are dropping the ball.
We've never seen the border in the shape that it's in.
The urgency is clear.
Well, there's no greater threat to the country than what we're facing today with the cartels.
But the responsibility is contentious. The Texas Senate on Thursday considering a bill to take border enforcement into state hands by creating a new state-level offense for illegal crossings.
The authority has been manipulated by the federal government, forcing Texas to try and come up with solutions.
Texas sheriffs say both federal and local law enforcement benefit from state cooperation.
So we rely on the state resources as well as the Border Patrol resources because there's time that they're first responders before we can get there and vice versa.
The southern border is the federal government's purview, but some lawmakers here argue it's now their problem. That's why they filed a series of bills to test the limits of state power and perhaps invite a federal challenge.
It's an inherent responsibility that's in law, codified in federal law, who has a responsibility for that. And so I just don't see how the state will be able to overcome that.
At least not under current law. And that just might be the point.
I think Texas has a tremendous argument right now in federal court on the way that the border has been handled by this administration. Leading us with very little choice but to try and make changes to the federal law.
Ryan Chandler, KXAN News.
And federal officials have taken issue with the concertina wire the Texas National Guard installed on the border in the El Paso area. It's similar to razor wire. Now, taking a closer look at this, the U.S. International Boundary and Water Commission requested the state put in the proper permits before installing it. The National Guard put the wire back up in September under Operation Lone Star. Well, in a tweet on Tuesday, Governor Greg Abbott said, quote, "We aren't asking for permission. Instead, we're doing the federal government's job to secure the border." You can read more on the back and forth with our colleagues at Border Report. We have a link on the homepage of KXAN.com.
Looks like any possible indictment for former President Donald Trump will not happen until next week at the earliest. A Manhattan grand jury is deciding whether to indict Trump over the alleged payment of hush money to adult film star Stormy Daniels back in 2016. Now, the jury met today again, and although it wasn't to discuss, though, Trump's case, last weekend Trump claimed on social media he was going to be arrested Tuesday. Today he posted that Manhattan District Attorney was, quote, doing the work of the devil. The earliest they would discuss the former president's case again would be this coming Monday.
And the potential legal trouble comes just days before the former president is set to come to Central Texas.
We always look forward to the rally. It's like a big homecoming.
Trump will visit Waco on Saturday. He's planning to give a speech at the airport in the evening. Close to 15,000 people are expected to attend. KXAN will be there as well. You can tune into our newscast Saturday for coverage or online at KXAN.com.
First warning weather with Chief Meteorologist David Yeomans.
Well, record heat appears to come today, but not this afternoon. Actually, this morning. This is what we call a record warm low temperature. So far, we've only dipped to 71 today. That would beat the record by 3 degrees. I don't think we'll drop past 68 tonight, so this will likely be a record warm day in a unique way. The Marble Falls cam showing cloudy, humid conditions. It's 80 degrees out at the Highland Furniture River City Grill cam. Gusty south winds still pouring in the humidity, 20, 30 mile per hour gusts, and these are not going away overnight tonight. But coming up, tonight is the night with a storm risk that we've been talking to you about all week. I'll show you the hour-by-hour timeline, where we're concerned and where we're not, and also, finally, when this humidity goes away for quite some time.
The high schooler accused of shooting 2 people in his Denver school has been found dead. Investigators found Austin Lyle's body about 50 miles southwest of Denver around 9 last night. He was accused of shooting 2 administrators during a weapons search Wednesday morning. One of those shot was taken into surgery for life-threatening issues, and right now the other is in serious condition.
Back home, the power lines over your head could soon be under your feet. Today, the Austin City Council approved a feasibility study to look at burying the city's electrical lines. The decision comes after last month's ice storm that damaged so many trees and left hundreds of thousands without power. At a meeting last month, Austin Energy General Manager Jackie Sargent said burying all 5,000 miles of lines would cost billions of dollars. The council also voted to take inventory of the emergency generators at Austin fire departments and EMS stations. You'll remember several of those stations lost power during the storm.
A social media CEO set in front of Capitol Hill today. TikTok's chief executive officer is getting grilled by lawmakers over fears the app is sharing sensitive data with the Chinese government. NBC's Bree Jackson has a closer look at the hearing.
We're headquartered in Los Angeles.
TikTok's CEO, So Chu, on the hot seat, facing bipartisan pressure.
Your platform should be banned.
Big tech has transformed the information superhighway into a super spreader of harmful content.
The popular app hails 150 million U.S. users. Lawmakers raise concerns about the Chinese government's influence on and access to their data. Chu says safety measures are already in place.
American data stored on American soil by an American company, overseen by American personnel.
Lawmakers say those efforts are not enough.
You damn well know that you cannot protect the data and security of this committee or the 150 million users of your app, because it is an extension of the CCP.
Committee members repeatedly challenged Chu on safety and surveillance tactics.
It is our commitment to this committee and all our users that we will keep this free from any manipulation by any government.
If you can't say 100% certain, I take that as a no.
The heated hearing comes amid a bipartisan push to crack down on foreign-based platforms. Senator Mark Warner tells me privacy concerns extend beyond TikTok.
We need to be ready not only for TikTok, but when we see foreign-based technology from countries like China and Russia, we've got to have tools in the toolkit.
Content creators say banning the app puts their livelihoods at risk.
TikTok has been essential in helping me build my business over the past few years.
Our app is a place where people can be creative and curious.
Chu and lawmakers agree user safety is a top priority, but they're divided on how to do that. And last week, the Biden administration issued an ultimatum to TikTok's Chinese owners: sell your stakes or be banned. Today, the Chinese government said it would oppose a forced sale and warned that such a move could hurt investor confidence in the U.S. On Capitol Hill, Bree Jackson, NBC News.
And that plan the TikTok CEO talked to lawmakers about storing data on American soil is called Project Texas. A key partner for this is the Austin headquartered computing giant Oracle. It's also worth noting Texas is one of a number of states that has also banned TikTok on state-issued government devices as well as state universities.
Increasing traffic on Highway 183. We're asking TxDOT about expansion plans and how they might impact your commute.
And an Austin kitchen opens its doors after a long time close. What that means for Austinites facing food insecurity. A man is in jail this evening accused of attacking and raping a woman under I-35 just outside of downtown.
According to police, it happened around 12:30 a.m. Tuesday near 14th Street. Investigators say the suspect, Aaron Lewis, who is a transient, knocked over the victim as she rode a scooter. Once on the ground, they say he raped her. Lewis faces aggravated sexual assault charges. We reached out to his attorney for comment. We haven't heard back.
And looking in depth right now, Austin Police Department data shows between 2014 and 2019, just 2% of all violent crimes involved a perpetrator that is an unhoused person and a victim who is not. Meanwhile, 4% of all violent crimes in Austin have an unhoused person for both perpetrator as well as victim.
Well, a downtown community staple is reopening its doors. Caritas of Austin opened its dining hall for their community kitchen today at 7th and Netches. Caritas has been running the kitchen since 1964, but had to switch to go only due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
We are reopening the dining room because we really believe it's important for people to have the opportunity to come inside, take a break from the weather.
And the kitchen serves anywhere between 250 and 300 meals a day. The dining hall will be open Monday through Friday.
Coming up, what TxDOT wants to do to fix a major traffic problem on an Austin highway.
And another day without measurable rain in our official rain gauge at Camp Mabry as we fall a little farther behind for the month and for the year. But coming up, we're tracking an overnight risk of severe weather and finally a drop in humidity.
This KXAN News podcast is brought to you by Shelf Genie. I'm Rosie Newberry from KXAN Studio 512. Considering replacing your kitchen cabinets? Struggling to find or reach things? Go to shelfgenie.com/Austin. Shelf Genie designs custom pull-out shelves for your existing cabinets, adding convenience and value to the most used room in your home. Shelf Genie custom pull-out shelves, everything in reach.
Sidelined by the pandemic, the process of helping ease congestion on Highway 183 in southeast Travis County is getting back on track.
More cars are driving that stretch of road each day, but the road hasn't been improved to keep up. But as traffic anchor Erica Brennis reports, that will soon change.
TxDOT spokesperson Brad Wheelis knows the struggles drivers face on Highway 183 in southwest Austin all too well, because he deals with them every single day.
This morning, I'm sailing through, right? And I'm thinking, why is there no traffic? It's a Wednesday. A lot of people go to the office on Wednesdays, right? And then boom, I hit the backup. Right now, most of that section of 183 is a 4-lane roadway. There's a big divided section there as well. But we know that we need to accommodate the growth. Not only the growth we've seen so far, but that in the future.
On the north side of Highway 183 at the intersection of 71, there's been a 43% increase in vehicle traffic since 2013. Latest numbers show 43,000 people drive through that spot every day, compared to 30,000 10 years ago. On the south side of Highway 183 at SH71, traffic is up 73% in that same time frame. In 2021, the count showed 26,000 drivers a day, compared to just 15,000 a day in 2013. On any given day, traffic on northbound 183 from SH45 up to Highway 71 can get backed up. On this day, it was 20 minutes. It can easily be longer. There's a couple particular bottleneck spots where it backs up, like at McKenzie Road. There's a traffic light there. It happens at FM 812, and it oftentimes happens at Burleson Road. But TxDOT has been considering creating underpasses or overpasses to bypass all those lights on 183. TxDOT is also considering adding a lane in each direction between 71 and 45.
We know that we can't build our way out of congestion, but we can help mitigate that congestion. We can improve mobility. We can improve safety.
Funding for the project has not been earmarked, but the environmental study is underway, and TxDOT says there will likely be another public meeting on the recommended changes this fall.
If 183 South hasn't magically fixed itself and Brad Wheelis drives it every single day, then you know there is no magic wand for any of these solutions.
I guess I don't know if I have that much pull within the agency, but yeah, that's probably, you know, if I could get it done with a magic wand, it would be done.
In Austin, Erica Brennis, KXAN News.
First warning weather with Chief Meteorologist David Yeomans.
Well, today is Thursday, our weekly drought monitor update coming to us hot off the press. This is the map last week with the highest drought classification possible, 4 out of 4 in this maroon color in the Southern Hill Country and parts of Hayes County. As I advance this to this week's, keep an eye on that red shading and notice how some of it has expanded just a bit, some slight worsening overall and absolutely no improvement over the past week. The Austonian weather cam showing dry weather, but boy, there's a lot of moisture in the air. High humidity under a mostly cloudy sky yet again today. 80 degrees in town, Lockhart and Bastrop, 70s in places like Georgetown and Burnet. But like the past couple of days, it is not a comfortable 77 or 79. It's a little too humid for that. AC is probably on. The pollen count showing the byproduct of the dry, windy weather. Oak is spiking in a pretty big way into the medium concentration. Mold, grass, and a couple other things here on page 2. Luckily, all remaining low. You can see some storms starting to fire up near the Red River Valley toward Oklahoma City right now. If we switch over to the special satellite we call the water vapor, it gives you a deeper look into what's going on in the high levels of the atmosphere. And look at this, a big low pressure system, a big dip in the jet stream. That's the storm that we've been talking about all week. And tonight is the night when we may see some hail and wind damage in the hill country. Overnight, you see this dark green shading and some yellow next to it, just west of Mason and San Saba. That's a 1 out of 5 or 2 out of 5 risk of seeing a severe storm through sunrise. After sunrise tomorrow during the day, that same very slim marginal threat of seeing wind or hail with some of the storms that fire. Let me show you, though, where I'm concerned and where I'm really not. Mostly cloudy skies break up a little more after sundown. A brief period of clearing later on this evening, but then the clouds fill back in as humidity remains high and south winds blow. This latest iteration of our high-resolution forecast model is a little more aggressive with the overnight line of storms entering the hill country, Fredericksburg, Mason, San Saba County as well. We need to keep the KXAN weather app on your phone by the bedside just in case a warning is issued for your area. Those could enter our area as early as 2:30 or 3 a.m. But notice these storms as they progress northeastward through the hill country. Yes, we're a little concerned with Llano, Tahoe, Lake Buchanan, but they move northward as opposed to moving straight east. That means we don't expect those potentially severe storms overnight to make it to the Austin metro. What do we get? Well, after that little burst of potential severe weather between about 3 and 6 a.m. out west, the rest of us just get a weaker line of showers, maybe an embedded thunderstorm, and it comes a little later. Morning commute all the way through 9:30, even noon. We've got some clouds and a few rain showers from Austin eastward. Then a total transformation in the weather. Dry west winds clear out the sky like that, and they drop the humidity, which is going to feel so wonderful after this humid week we've had. Rainfall, if we do get some of those strong storms out west, hopefully we get over an inch, and hopefully it's in the Highland Lake watershed like what you see here. The rest of us, 1/4 inch or less. It will be a damp start to your Friday, but not the kind of rain that we need to help the drought status. The muggy meter, I've been telling you all week, this is what I'm most excited about. It's very humid again tonight, but once that line of storms clears midday tomorrow, the humidity bottoms out and it stays in the comfy category all the way into next week. The weekend looks great. Afternoons are still warm behind that little cool front, but the humidity is so low, it'll feel totally different. Highs near 80 both days with mainly dry conditions. Tonight, 67 with gusty winds and some hill country storms after 2 or 3 a.m. Tomorrow, after the morning showers, a kind of hot afternoon. Dry air and west winds boost temperatures to 86 degrees. There's your chance of storms tomorrow. The cool front not really cooling our weekend afternoons, but our overnight lows sure do get a lot more comfortable Saturday and Sunday morning. After that, another weak push of cool air means several days in the 70s next week with a few slight chances of rain.
It's a day that only comes once a year. What a South Austin retirement community is celebrating and how it helps man's best friend.
A nice holiday at Zilker Park will soon cost you no matter where you park. Austin Parks and Rec leaders decided to move forward with creating parking pay stations for the remaining lots around Zilker. Starting May 1st, the lots on Stratford Road, north of the Botanical Gardens, and A.Z. Morton Road, south of Barton Springs, will have pay stations. However, you'll only need to pay on weekends, holidays, and special events. Parks and Rec started installing stations back in 2016, trying to reduce traffic congestion. The money raised from the parking fees will go toward safety initiatives, lighting, and future electric car charging stations.
Well, they say every dog has its day, and that happens to be today. It's National Puppy Day, and the Continental Retirement Community, that's in South Austin, celebrated by holding a puppy fashion show. It was open to the public. You can see the residents there judging them. The show doubled as a fundraiser for the Austin Humane Society.
No, this has been a fantastic event. We hope to do this again and have even more folks come out and enjoy it with us.
And people came by and dropped off things like toys and blankets for the dogs in need. A few of the dogs even got to find a forever home. So cute.
Very cute. All right, well, tonight on NBC Primetime, it's Law & Order night. We have The Original at 7, SVU at 8, and Organized Crime at 9 before we're back with KXAN News at 10.
And of course, you can join us an hour earlier for KXAN News at 9 o'clock on the CW Austin.
Thanks for listening to KXAN News Nightly. You can also listen to KXAN News Today every morning for more in-depth coverage of what matters most to you.